What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about Virgin Galactic, ticker is SPCE. I want to give you a good breakdown of some of the data points, why it is going down 2.5% today, and everything else that you need to know. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. So currently down 2.37%, a little bit lower for volume. So 6.2 million shares being traded, 24.2 is the average. But there was this news that did come out. So it's Virgin Galactic broadens access to space with first private astronaut mission, Galactic 2. And you would have assumed them announcing obviously the window previously and this news, it would cause a little bit more hype and cause it to go up. But similarly, what happened with their first flight, which was more of a research driven flight, it kind of caused the stock price to go down. And when it came down to this, I think a lot of people were highly anticipating a lot of big celebrities to do this, not necessarily a 80-year-old Olympian, and it looks like a mother-daughter duo. So I think people are just a little bit more disappointed by that, which of course, based on this, it still does have a lot of good accomplishments, one of which is the first astronauts from the Caribbean, first mother-daughter duo to go in space. That one's a little bit more grasping at straws a little bit. The first Olympian to go to space. So a lot of these, yes, are okay kind of things, but I think what investors truly want, especially with dilution that was recently announced that caused it to go down, people just want some revenue physically coming in. So I don't think they want more of another kind of a research aspect to that. They just want revenue, plain and simple, even though it is still fairly good to have that 80-year-old Olympian and that mother-daughter kind of scenario, but I think this isn't what people want. My own opinion, not a financial advisor. You guys always do your own due diligence. When it comes down to it though, I'll give you guys a good overview of some of the data points, starting off with options. So currently there is $307,000 in calls being purchased versus around $69,000 in puts being purchased. So based on this, people are anticipating it to continue to trend up, and maybe that today was a little bit more of an overreaction. Based on this, which is a grid that shows all the calls, it is anticipated to go roughly around the $4 range within the next couple of weeks. Of course, when it comes down to options activity, as I always say, it does not necessarily move the stock price. So if you buy $10 billion in calls, it doesn't move the stock price 1 cent. It is just more so a sentiment. So just be aware of that. As far as big money getting in, there was only one transaction today, and it looks like it was a sell for $150,000 based on the bid, the ask, and the selling price. So once again, I think big money has always really struggled to really justify to get into Virgin. And like I said, especially when it comes down to that, a lot of big money wants to invest in companies that are really striving for sufficient amount of revenue, whereas their first two flights, even though fairly good successes, still not necessarily what people do want, in my own opinion. And this is the latest round of 13 Fs that have come down the pipeline. Big names such as Vanguard did increase their position 1.52%, so they have a grand total of almost about 20.1 or 20.2 million shares, so pretty good in that regard. IMC Chicago did also increase their calls by 145%, so that's very bullish, but other than that, it's been pretty stagnant so far, so nothing really to report on. Of course, when it comes down to this, the fair market value for Morningstar, or based on Morningstar, and I think this came out last Friday, is $6.34. And once again, isn't too bad. It kind of just puts Virgin at a pretty substantial discount. And as far as some of the latest analyst ratings, it looks like there hasn't been any since around June the 14th. So hopefully once their upcoming earnings comes down the pipeline, then definitely that will be maybe justification for obviously analysts to really up their rating or make brand new ratings. No, let me know you guys' thoughts on that. As far as shorts, I'll give you guys a good overview of what shorts are doing. So right now, short score is currently 78, utilization is 89.82%, and right now shorts are returning 777,000 shares. 27.15% of the free float is being shorted, and that works out to be 62.68 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 7.29%. It is down a little bit lower today, and that is largely because most likely this. So a lot of retail or newer retail investors were getting into Virgin, and most likely some of them were actually lending out their shares. So this is why it goes back down to the cost to borrow. It's just more of a supply and demand. So it is going down because there is a lot more supply. of course. Let me know you guys' thoughts. Looking at stochastic though, it is at 20, no defined trend as of right now. So in theory, if there is a good piece of news that doesn't really have a negative connotation to it behind the scenes, then yeah, Virgin can definitely go up very fast as what we have seen in the past. So it is just more of a waiting game. I think they are moving in the right direction, but as far as if this is the bottom, something that you have to watch for with it being at $3.73, the next big support and resistance point is $3.43, that is the S1, and $4.48, that is the pivot. So with there being such a pretty heavy spread between the two, you have to anticipate that there is going to be a pretty substantial amount of volatility, at least in the short term. So just be once again aware of that, but still that's the next big support and resistance point. I personally do feel that it might actually be touching the 343, and then from there bounce higher maybe into this realm above here. So of course, looking right here, get back into the fours, and once it breaks past that, then a lot higher. And like I've said in the past, when it does get over that 50-day moving average, generally big things do happen for Virgin. So a lot of good potential positives coming down the pipeline. Let me know you guys' thoughts. Give yourself a shout out as well if you have been buying, selling, holding. What have you been doing, at least in the short term, and where do you guys see things going? Do you think it is going to go back down to maybe the threes or very low threes, or what's your guys' take on all that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Brand new promo going on with Moomoo. Link in the description below and also the comments. It is free to open up an account. It does have free level 2 trading and $0 commission. Throw $100 at the account and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Plus you do get a $50 cash reward. So this promo is absolutely amazing. Take advantage while you can. And it looks like it is up until August 31st. With that said, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Virgin Galactic.